I want to introduce some of the team here to you tonight. Robert Gordon standing up over here. He's our economic development and community development for Walker County. And then Matt Williamson is our legal counsel policy, and he's our professional scribe here tonight, so I don't have to try to remember everything. He's going to take good notes and make sure that any action items that we have, we've got good record of that. And then Joe LeGee is our public relations director, and Joe does a fantastic job of trying to keep us all informed and keep the information out and dealing with any open records requests. He takes care of those, manages the Facebook page, website, and so forth. Back in the back, we've got Chief Hodge. Chief, raise your hand. Chief Hodge is with us tonight. He is our fire chief, also our emergency management director. And then in the very back, we've got Carlin Bowers. Carlin, raise your hand. Carlin's over our Public Works Department. He's our superintendent over our Public Works and roads. And then we've got a special guest with us tonight. Sheriff Wilson's with us, so we appreciate him coming out and being part of the evening tonight. So we may let him come up and field any questions that you may have about public safety. And we've got a couple of our finest firemen back here. Guys, appreciate what y'all do protecting our community and our first responders. And so thank y'all for being here tonight as well. Okay, we have got about 10 or 11 slides that we're going to show you pretty quick. Probably take us about 20 minutes or so. We're going to go through these slides and just point out a few things to you, and then we're going to open up the floor for discussion. So we're going to run through this pretty quick. First slide, we're going to talk about the debt real quick. Back in 2017, we started out, round numbers, with $70 billion worth of debt. And we've had people say, you're making that number up. It's just not possible. Well, one of the handouts that you got there in your hand tonight will show you the balance sheet from September 30th of 2016, which was the ending audit for that fiscal year. And you'll see it's squared off. It says total liabilities. It's like $69,925,000, I believe. Yeah, $69,925,772 was the total liabilities at the end of September 30th of 2016. So in 2018, if you flip this page over, on the back side, you'll see September 30th of 2017, we had reduced that number down to $66,360,605. And both of these are certified audits. You know, the complete audit is about 110 pages, and all of these audits are on our website, all the way back, I think about 15 years or so. You can find those all on the website if you want all of the details. But in a nutshell, your balance sheet is your key thing that you want to look at and what your total debt is. As of today, we're down to $46.5 million in 25 months. We've reduced the debt that much. You say, well, how did you do that, Commissioner? Well, on the spreadsheet, you will see the 2016 number, the $69 million, and it shows all the numbers that ties into, so you can see what the current liabilities, what the SPLOST bond, the development authority, and so forth. And the 2017, same thing. And then you'll see fiscal year 18, where we paid down $13 million. You see where those payments were made. And then in the first 4 months of 2019, you'll see there's been $6.6 million paid down. So that's how we're coming up to $46,454,000, down 33.6% in 25 months. So one of our focuses has been, obviously, to reduce this debt, because that's what's strangling Walker County. And if we can get this debt paid off, it's unlimited what we can do. The sky's the limit of what we can do. But as long as we're sitting here accruing this type of interest, if you just take any of those numbers and times that by about 4 or 5% average interest rate, just interest alone is staggering of how much interest that's costing us every year. Next, we want to talk about road projects and our T-Splosh. And I wanted to personally come out and thank y'all for voting and passing the T-Splosh back in November of 2017, because that is going to make all the difference in the world of being able to start working on these roads, our road infrastructure. There's a lot of roads over here in very bad shape, I want to tell y'all that. But this is coming in at about $300,000 per month that we're getting this revenue in. Plus it allows us to match against state grant money. It comes in about $1 million a year. So here are the roads that are listed in the second round of projects. The first two projects we did was Nickajack Road over in Flintstone going up Lookout Mountain. And the reason we had to do that one, I felt like we needed to do that one first, is that the state DOT had told us due to the number of accidents that was listed in their database as the second most dangerous road in the state as a county road. So we had to get that road paved. And then we also did Nickajack Lane down below it, and also we had a road on the north end of Lafayette, that Diamond Circle, that they had put some sewer lines in a few years ago. In some places it had settled 2+ foot deep. And so there's one whole side of the road that couldn't even use. But here, you can see the list of roads, and we've had an engineering firm do an assessment on the roads and actually give them a grading and a score on the severity of the road. And so, South Deep Creek Road is one of the roads in this area that's one of the worst roads. And it's going to cost, just that road alone, I think it was close to $1 million to do that one road, because of the amount of base and repair that has to be done to the road before it can even be paved. So there's a lot of base work that's got to be done. Okay, one thing too that we've had a big initiative on is cleaning up our county, cleaning up the junk and the garbage and the blight of our county. So you'll see there code enforcement on cases that have been closed in the first 2 years, first 24 months, 819 cases where there actually was a citation where they went out and cited someone for having a code violation on their property. In 2016, there was 162 of those citations written, and not sure how many were closed out. The code enforcement violation was 2,326 total citations that was written, and it was 819 of those that were closed out. So you see, we still got a lot of work to do, just trying to get all of the original cases in the first 2 years closed out. And so what an officer does when he goes out, explains to them the situation, explains to them what they're in violation of. And right off the top, it's just a warning. We give them 30 days to get into compliance. And then in 15 days, they go back just to check on them, let them know that, hey, this is real, this is something serious, we just want to make sure you don't forget this, because we'll be back in 2 weeks to see your progress. And we give that code officer discretion to make decisions on site. Let's just say that for 2 weeks solid it's rained, or it's been 25 degrees. He needs to take that into account. He or she needs to take that into account. Have they made any progress at all? We're not in this trying to just speed grab or write citations. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to clean our county up. We want to see our county cleaned up. But they write that warning citation so they can log that in the system and have a way of tracking it. And also it lets the property owner know that this is serious. I mean, they've actually wrote this down, and they are going to come back. And so many times we find that the property owners, for various reasons, are not in a position where they can even clean their own mess up. Sometimes it's a situation where the grandkids or the kids or something messed everything up, or left the car sitting on blocks, or left the transmission in the front yard, and they just don't have the physical ability or the means to address this. And so what we do is we reach out to community groups, volunteer groups, sometimes faith-based groups that we work with and say, hey, these people over here need some help, and they're willing to accept that. So we just kind of play matchmaker and allow them to work together And in 2 years, we had 49 of those projects where private sector groups went in and helped 49 property owners. You know, where they would bring in a lot of times a roll-off dumpster or haul the stuff off on trailers. And these groups have reported back to us with their weight tickets to the landfill. And they have been able to dispose of 113 tons of junk and garbage and debris that went to the landfill. And then our litter control efforts. This is one we feel like a lot of times we're just the gerbil in the wheel, because we've got a van and a trailer, and we've got one county employee. And the sheriff works with us very well, allows us to go over to the jail, and they'll get 3 or 4 inmates to go out and detail and pick up garbage off the side of the road. And you can see almost 123 tons of paper cups and trash and mattresses and stuff thrown out on the side of the road. And many of these roads we've worked 2 and 3 times. And it's just like, are we ever going to get on top of it? So we're going to double down on that starting in March. We're going to put a second crew on the road and have 2 vans, 2 trailers, 2 crews out trying to keep our county cleaned up. Because y'all live in one of the most beautiful parts of our entire country, especially our county. And when you've got all this trash on the roadside that people are throwing out their fast food wrappers and bags and beer cans and so forth, it just really makes our county look ugly. And so we want to work to continue to clean up our county. Our tire amnesty day was a big hit. You know, y'all have probably seen an increase in mosquitoes. Is one of the things that we were focusing on. And so mosquitoes just love tires because they hold water. And so we were successful in working with the state EPD in getting a grant to do a tire amnesty day where people could take their tires to the landfill free of charge, as long as it was a passenger or light truck tire. We did that, I think 3 times total over a period of 2 years, and was able to collect over 12,000 tires. So you figured if people had to take those to the landfill, that's going to cost them about $4 to $6 per tire to dispose of those. But on Tire Amnesty Day, that was free because we got a grant. So we've applied for this grant again in 2019. We've not heard back yet if we've been able to be successfully awarded the grant, but we're trying to do this again to try to get more tires out of our community that's just sitting outside. You know, if somebody's got them in their garage or in their shed, and they're not taking on water, not a problem. Maybe if they're saving them for some reason, it's great. But we're finding many times people have tires sitting outside, and they had good intentions with them, maybe, and then they realize, gosh, that was 5 years ago. And so we want to try to get these tires cleaned up because there has been reports of West Nile virus in our region. Talking about blighted structures, this is a house. This is the front of it and the back of it in a fairly nice subdivision up in Rossville that burned about 8 years ago. And there's structures like this all over our county. Code enforcement estimate that there's probably somewhere around 300 abandoned or burned out structures in our county. And so many of these, for the last couple of years, we've been working with them saying, hey, we need you to work with us and help get this cleaned up. You don't see any other photos, but this is an older neighborhood, but this is a very, very nice subdivision. And this is the only property in the entire subdivision that is a problem. Everybody else keeps their places just super, super nice. And so what's happening is this one property here, since it's burned, it's been abandoned, it's bringing down the whole neighborhood. And you know that you've got critters that are taking cover in there at night and things, and it's killing the value of that whole subdivision over this one property. So what we're doing this spring is we're going in and we're picking 12 of the worst, and we're going to be notifying them that they're out of compliance, and they're going to get their day in court, in magistrate court. And so we're going to keep 12 on the list as we go through these and give these people an opportunity to allow the judge to encourage them to clean this property up. If the judge is unsuccessful, or they don't show, or they don't engage, or they don't come up with some sort of plan of action that's satisfactory to the judge, then we're going to be seeking an order from the judge to be able, in the county, take county equipment and go in and clean those up. And then take the cost and apply that back to their tax bill and put a lien against the property to clean these properties up. This right here is a vision advance team. Y'all may notice at least one of those names on there toward the top. But we want this team to look at our codes and ordinances that we have in place now. Many of those were put in place by Commissioner Parrish. There's been some changes in early 2003 and 4, but we're finding that our codes don't address everything that it needs to address. And we're not just trying to be nitpicking, but things change in the marketplace. One, probably the best example is tiny homes. You know, it's a thing you see on TV and people doing tiny homes, but there's nothing in our codes or ordinances that ever fathom or ever dream anything about tiny homes. And so there needs to be guidelines there for life safety and for safety of our citizens, that someone doesn't come in and build a tiny home that is not safe and secure and meet fire and electric code and so forth. And so it's a protection of our people and our family and our friends that there are guidelines in place. And so we felt like this was a good time to go back and do a complete review. And there's probably a lot of it is fine, but has anyone sat down and gone through a book about this thick to just do a complete review? So these individuals have all agreed to volunteer their time to do this and to make recommendations back and to collaborate with each other and meet, at least on a monthly basis, to vet some of these things out. And all of these people bring experience and backgrounds that's diverse from each other. So we try to put a diverse group of individuals and people that have a lot of experience in the area that they're diverse in. One of the things, too, talking about our natural beauty, we come up with a campaign, and Robert was the spearhead of this initiative, is our Walker Rocks. How many of y'all heard about Walker Rocks? A few of you, okay, about a third of you. But Walker Rocks is basically a platform to promote Walker County. And so when you don't have a marketing budget and you don't have any money to work with to market your community, you got to get creative. And so the way we did that at zero cost is created Walker Rocks. And we try to use that as a platform to promote the natural beauty of Walker County. And so social media doesn't cost you anything but your time. And so we set up a Facebook page that's dedicated to Walker Rocks completely. There's now over 5,000 followers on that page, and it's not even been up a year. 45 countries are represented of people that's following it. So people from all over the world are looking at this Facebook page and keeping up with things that's going on in Walker County. We've already seen over an $88,000 increase in our sales tax revenue since this initiative started, just seeing increased sales. Don't know exactly how much of that's been contributed to Walker Rocks, but we know that it's had an impact in a positive direction. Mountain Cove Farms, our bookings have gone like this. Back in 2017, there was, I think, 525 bookings. In 2018, they were right around 900. And in 2016, it was less than 200. So it's more than doubled the bookings. The Historic High Country gave us an award back a few months ago, Award of Excellence for the best marketing campaign for Walker Rocks. The best awards to get are the ones you don't even know that you're in the running for, or you don't even know the award is even an award that exists out there. None of us even knew we were up for this, so we didn't even go to their dinner or event or whatever it was. We find out after the fact, oh, hey, y'all won. So to me, that's the best kind of award to get, is one that you're just doing the right thing and you're recognized for doing something that you wasn't trying to win the award. I want to talk to you about smoke alarms. It was a thing that you can find on our Facebook page where our fire chief, or our fire inspector, Paul Linder, went down to the state capitol last week to be him and the other fire inspectors across the state for their annual swearing-in ceremony. There was 83 pairs of shoes laying on the Capitol steps where they had their picture made. There's a picture of that online. And every pair of shoes represented a death of someone in a fire in Georgia. Unfortunately, 5 pairs of those shoes were from Walker County. We've had 5 fire deaths in homes in Walker County in 2018 that most likely could have been prevented if there had been working smoke alarms. And in all those cases, there was no working smoke alarms. And 4 of those deaths were on one street, 2 different fires on one street. And so, for several months, we've been on a campaign for our firemen to install free smoke alarms. And these are the good ones that the batteries last for 10 years. There's no qualifications for this. There's no income restrictions. There's no, your house has got to be so big, so small. You just got to be in Walker County. And we got a grant to be able to fund these fire smoke detectors through the Red Cross. And so that picture there on the lower left is Saturday 2 weeks ago on Dry Valley Road where 4 of those deaths were. And we had some volunteers and some of our staff members literally going door to door asking them, can we please put smoke alarms in? Do you have smoke alarms? And they were able to put in 53 in one day up and down that street. So we're going to show you a video here real quick about these smoke alarms.
Hi, I'm Joe Legee, and welcome to How Walker Works, an inside look at how government operates here in Walker County, Georgia. While most people associate Walker County Fire Rescue with fighting fires and emergency response, the department also actively works to prevent fires.
Because we want to save lives. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We want to save property, but we want to save lives.
Along with visits to schools and community events, building inspections, and safety training for local businesses, this county department also offers a free residential smoke alarm program.
We're going to go out to your home. We're going to do a home safety survey, and we're going to make sure you don't have any hazards in your house, and we'll put in the smoke alarms they need. It's that easy.
Smoke alarms are given out and installed for free. There are no income restrictions. You just have to make the call to receive a potentially life-saving device.
If you need them, we'll come install ours. If you have them, if you can afford to buy them and you have them, we'll come install them for you. If you don't need to climb on a ladder because you're elderly, we'll do that for you.
5 fire-related fatalities occurred in Walker County in 2018. Fire investigators did not find working smoke alarms where those deaths occurred.
The ones we have are good for 10 years. They have a sealed battery. You don't have to change the battery. All you have to do is push the button once a month and test them and make sure they're working. If your smoke alarms aren't working, you may as well not have them.
Walker County firefighters installed 228 smoke alarms in 2018. If you need one, make the call. Dial 706-539-1255. The life you save may be your own. I'm Joe Legee. Be sure to check out walkercountyga.gov for other How Walker Works features and county information.
Thank you, Joe. Said there was over 200 installed last year. Already this year, January, February, there's already, I think, 91 or so that has already been installed. I mean, it's close to 100 now. So this is something we want to continue to talk about and bring awareness to, because oftentimes they'll find smoke alarms in houses after they burn, but the batteries are dead or the batteries are missing. And so many of you probably have smoke alarms in your home tonight, but you don't 100% know if they're working or not, just because we just kind of forget about it. It's just one of those things we just don't think about. So we're trying to bring awareness of this, and we want to continue to talk about this. So one of the flyers, the smaller page, has got the phone number at the bottom. So you can call that number 24/7. You can leave a message, and they'll get out to you as quick as they can to come out and do a review and put as many fire or smoke detectors that need to be to cover your house properly. So one thing that we did last year is we wanted to improve our coverage and our response times to the community. And so we had stations that had 4 men per station, and we were finding out that 90% plus of our actual calls that they were getting had nothing to do with fire. They were more medical related, or they were wrecks, or something, maybe a grass fire or something. And so what was happening is that you had the biggest fire truck you got going out with 4 men, and it wasn't very effective. And so Chief Hodge came in and said, hey, we've got to change this because we've got areas such as the valley over here, that there wasn't any full-time men in this station here at all, ever. It's all volunteers. And we love our volunteers. We've got a campaign trying to get more volunteers and could not survive without the volunteers. But a lot of times the volunteers, they work a Monday through Friday job. And so a lot of times during the day, they were having to dispatch a truck from Rock Springs, Georgia to come over here. And so you'll see prior to October of 2017, the average response time for this station over here to get calls answered over here was running about 23 minutes. Well, they're saying that a fire will double in size about every 45 to 60 seconds. So you can figure if your house catches on fire in 23 minutes, they're just there to contain it. It's gone. So from October of 17 through the end of the year, there was 203 calls for this station requesting for service. An average response time, 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So you see the West Armuchee Road Station 17, prior to October 17, the average response time was 17 minutes. There was 29 calls answered in the same period with a response time of 11 minutes. One thing too this allowed us to do is to partner with our neighbors over in Whitfield County. They've got a station not too far over the county line. So we did an agreement with them, an intergovernmental agreement on what they call automatic aid. And so if we get an alarm in a particular zone in this area, they respond, we respond. Same thing, if they get an alarm in the zone, we respond, they respond. And so it's who can get there first to save lives. And many times, a lot of those calls, we don't have the breakdown there, but a lot of those calls had nothing to do with the fire. Those 203 calls, y'all didn't have 203 fires. Probably 90+% of those had nothing to do with the fire. So a lot of what the guys are trained for, the equipment they have on the truck, is more medical life safety to answer the call of the life safety and help get you ready and prepared and get you stabilized waiting on the ambulance to get there. So it's been a huge difference when you can turn your turnaround time and get it that low. And basically we took the same budget that we had and just redeployed how the department was set up. And also they don't run every fire in the great big fire trucks. We have the quick response vehicles, the smaller F-450s that they're running. They get there quicker, they're safer, they're less wear and tear, there's less maintenance costs, less fuel costs, tires are not as big, so the tires are less expensive. So it's lowered our overall operational costs. Because let's face it, a lot of areas where you're going to turn a big fire truck around when you don't even need it. And so the quick response vehicles have proven to be very productive. One thing that we rolled out last week is a product called Siren GPS. How many of you do you know if you're signed up through the HyperReach program where you would get notifications through Walker County Emergency Services for weather alerts and different things through HyperReach? Just a few of them, okay. Well, the system was good as long as you didn't have a lot of people on it. The technology mainly was to do phone calls, the robocalls. So there was a little over 20,000 people in Walker County signed up for that. So what would happen is if tornadoes come, a call would go out to 22,000 people. And about an hour and a half later, all of you would get your phone notification. And we hope that the tornado missed you. And so we were getting a lot of concern, a lot of question about, hey, that tornado was an hour ago. sun's out now, I just got the alert. So it was a limitation of the technology. So we asked Chief Hodge to start looking into this and see whether the technology was out there. And what we learned is that when they send out the call, it's not that the calls are not going out, it's the log jam is the telecoms, the phone companies. Because a lot of times the phone companies only have enough bank of lines to maybe do 8 or 10 calls at a time. So that gets deployed out through multiple telecoms, but it gets log jammed. Plus they've got other calls coming in and out. So the next best way to get a smaller data packet to send you a notification is by email. Well, like most people, you get a ton of email, half of them are junk mail, and it's really not an alert that you're going to adhere to. You might check your email, a couple of times a week, and so that's really not that efficient. The next smallest data pack to send out is going to be a text message. Well, we can send out 20 to 25,000 text messages and probably get that to you maybe 15 or 20 minutes. The problem there is not everybody has a cell phone. Not everybody has cell service all the time. Y'all are in an area where cell service is limited at best. And so a text message is not always the right answer. And then the smallest data pack is to use a phone app. And that's where Siren GPS come into play, is because they have perfected their phone app. So you can go to the Google Store or the App Store with Apple and download this free app. And there's an instruction sheet in there on the back side of the smoke alarms. It gives you step by step how to do this. How to download this app and select Walker County Community. Because what will happen now, if we send out, say, 30,000 alerts, and say 20,000 people are in an area where it will actually pick up on your cell phone. Well, that data pack's going to go probably less than 10 seconds to hit 20, 30,000 people in less than 10 seconds. They're going to get a notification. Then it's going to wait 60 seconds, and it's going to poll those phones behind the scene, and it's going to say, okay, we missed 5,000 people. Maybe your cell phone's not turned on. Maybe you don't have cell service. Or maybe the app just didn't work, or maybe you deleted the app and didn't realize it. So after 60 seconds, it says, okay, here's 5,000 people that we missed. It's now going to cascade that and send just you 5,000 a text message. And it's going to say, hey, here's this alert. Well, let's say that it sends that out, and it waits another 60 seconds, and it gets bounced back by 1,000. And 1,000 of those didn't get there. So the next thing it's going to do, it's going to cascade those. It's going to focus on just that limited number. We're just going to use an example of the 1,000. And then it's going to send you a robocall of whatever phone number you have set up. So if you have a landline or cell phone or whatever you've got listed, then it's going to send that robocall. Well, it can take and send 1,000 or 2,000 calls so much faster because it's not log jamming the system. And we've already reached everybody else in less than 3 minutes. And so you've got a much smaller group of people that have to be notified. And so that's the way to take care of the people, because we have quite a number of people in our community that doesn't want a cell phone at all. They've got a landline, and past that, that's all they want. And that's fine. This system will do it all. One good thing about the system is you can go in there and put your personal information and your medical information. So if you're diabetic or if you're insulin dependent or any of these type of things, whatever you want to put, you can list that. And if you ever hit the 911 on there, it will send the first responders to the 911 center that information that you want them to know before they come to your scene of where you are if you use the app to notify them. So we'll be talking more about this as we go throughout this year and trying to get more and more people signed out as we're fixing to do the actual official rollout. So you being here tonight, you're on the cutting edge of this because you're only about probably one of about 200 people that even know that this is coming. So it is up, it's working. Download the app and put your information in, and I believe you'll find this will be a great system for us going forward. That's it. So we've got an extra microphone, and since Robert likes to walk around, let's let Robert likes to get around and walk. So we want to hear from you now. That's just kind of a snapshot of some things that we felt like were important. And we want to hear what's on your mind. So who's first? Don't be shy.
I'll go first.
All right. Let him get you the microphone so everybody can hear you.
All right, Brian Hart, it's all you. So my question is about the debt, Shannon. The debt's about a third paid off. When do you anticipate the debt being fully paid off? And what changes will the county make once it is paid off?
Okay, let me point out a couple of things. Very good question. To help answer that, one reason this debt's being paid off very quickly is on that sheet there where it says splosh bond. You see that shovel is about $4.5 million a year on the splosh bond, and there's $8.6 million left on the splosh. So that splosh is where they financed $26.4 million back in 2011 to do the 6-year splosh. And so they bonded out all they could get, and we're paying interest on that. So that goes into a separate account at the state, the 1% of our sales tax collection. So in 2 more years, that will be paid off in full. So that's a big debt and a big shovel. Everything else, my goal, because a lot of this stuff, a lot of these other things are set up on 10 and 20-year amortizations. And so our goal is to have us completely out of debt in less, say, 6 years from now. Maybe if we do it faster than that, if the economy's good, sales tax collections go good, and we don't have a bad disaster, storm, something like that, because those things are very, very cash intensive. But my personal goal is I'd like to have us 100% out of debt 6 years from now. So we feel like that's doable. But hey, if I miss it by a couple of months, don't be mad.
I'm impressed with your thing so far.
It's been a big focus because in our, I didn't bring any of these with me, but I put a little spreadsheet together the other day that the group I spoke with. There's 74 budget entities in the county budget. And so that's departments, that's elected officials, that's other government entities like the district attorney's office, the public defender's office. There's 74 different budget entities that goes into making up the round numbers $38 million county budget. And out of that, there's only about 30% of that I actually, as the commissioner, have oversight of those departments. Everything else is going to other elected officials or other entities that once it's in the budget, they direct how those funds are dealt with. And so, in essence, I have about a third of the budget that I really can have any great impact on. But the biggest thing is not taking on new debt and to have positive cash flow. When I came into office in 2017, we didn't even have enough money to last a week. We didn't have a week's worth of cash flow. But we had $800,000 in the bank, which is a lot of money. Okay? $800,000 was in the general fund. I came in day one, I asked the question, we got $800,000. I said, where did all the money go? And the CFO said it went out the door as fast as it come in November, December. Because I knew property taxes, multiple millions. And so I said, please, please tell me y'all paid all the bills. He said, no. I said, what do we owe? He said, I don't even really know. I couldn't get all the bills. Previous administration wouldn't let me have them all. So we got all the bills rounded up, took a stack of invoices, took them 2 days to keep them all in the payables, and run me a payable printout. $3.5 million worth of payables. $3 million of it past due. So remember, I got $800,000. $3.5 million worth of payables, vendors. Oh, by the way, payrolls is $1.1 million a month. Every month, payrolls $1.1 million. I got $800,000. So that's where we had to get in gear and start looking at cash flow projections and budgeting and cutting expenses and downsizing, and we pulled every lever we could pull. And to be square with you, one of those levers, we had to raise property taxes. We had to make adjustments to the fire fee, change it to the public safety fee so that it would cover the true cost of managing our first responders. And then we still cut their budget $50,000, but it has to be self-supported. We had to increase the tipping fees at the landfill. And we had to do all these things. And also I'm working with 26 less staff people and cut $2.6 million in overhead. So it's taking everybody, and it's taking sacrifice from both you, the citizen, the property owner, as well as government working leaner and smarter to be able to move this needle so we never go back to this. Yes, sir. It's hot.
The mayor of Vilna.
No, I'm opinion on that, Bill. Well, I just want to say thank you for putting the points here first. Thank you for coming.
Oh, absolutely.
Meeting. I know meeting used to have meetings like this, and I like it, so I hope you'll have more.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Okay. Now, another thing I want to say thank you for is putting full-time firemen. I've seen them out working, and that's a good thing. And then, years ago, several years ago, Beatty had this system set up that she would run a truck over the garbage. So we are on one side of the county, the landfill's on the other side. She would have a dump truck here, and we'd have to back up the garbage, put it on the dump truck, and we'd have to pay for it, and we'd have to sort it back. Would there be any possibility that something like that could take place in the future? And certainly don't cause us debt to start going back up and more to do it. In fact, I'm impressed with the debt too, coming down. And also can understand why the property tax increase. And so as long as we're getting good management out of the county, I think people understand that property tax increase. But yeah, I was just wondering, litter control, some people throws it out. If we have a system where they can bring it over, put it on the truck, they really keep it in better shape over here. But yeah, I don't want to cause a big, huge increase in expense.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair question. Thank you for the kind words as well there to start with. We've had 3 of these community meetings, and now 2 of the 3, the question has come up about some formula or some concept of county-wide garbage service of some sort. And it's definitely something that some communities do, where they'll have a separate fee on the property taxes, where they'll say everybody's going to pay this base rate for garbage service. And I'm not opposed to that, but keep in mind, I'm a business guy, I'm a numbers guy, and it didn't take me but just a few weeks in office to figure out that the most expensive way to do anything is to let government do it, okay? And if you really want to increase the price, let the federal government do it in most cases. Okay, so when local government starts getting into the space of free market and free enterprise and trying to compete, they're going to get their nose bloodied every time, because entrepreneurs and small business can do it so much better. It's almost like a few years ago when the county thought they were going to get into the Mountain Cove farm business and into the restaurant business. They can't compete. I mean, that's the most expensive way to run a restaurant, is let your county government run that restaurant. And so even though it is an interesting concept, and I don't disagree that it would definitely help deter people probably from throwing stuff out on the side of the roads of illegal dumping. So it's not to say that we may not need to get there, but I just don't want to leave anyone with a false pretense or false hope the government's going to be able to do it less expensive. But it may be a service that needs to be provided for the betterment of the community and to be able to clean our county up, because some people just not taking garbage service at all, and the rest of us are having to pick it up off the side of the road, and it's making our citizens have to pay more in other ways. So I find it very interesting that this has come up twice. But just a little straw poll here. How many of you think, let's just throw out a number, or what are y'all paying right now if you've got local garbage service? If someone running over in the valley local garbage service, like a H&R or Canal Disposal, or 53 a quarter. Okay, now this is going to make up a number. If you're paying 53 a quarter now, would you be willing to pay 58 a quarter for everybody to be on the same level and everybody's paying for garbage service? And it's on the property taxes, so you make sure it doesn't matter if it's a renter there, homeowner there, everybody's going to pay a set number, whatever it would be. Yes. Yeah, it would be like a tax. You like the free enterprise system. And ultimately, that's my first go-to, is let free enterprise do it. But it's definitely something to keep in the back of our minds, that if it just gets out of control with the younger generation in particular, sometimes has a different viewpoint of things, that may be a discussion worth having. Okay, who's next?
Along the lines of trash, we just moved down a year and a half ago from the Washington, D.C. area, so I'm inclined to have my recycle bin and my trash bin, and I don't have that here. And I don't know that there's an easy place to take recycling if I did it.
Yeah, at the landfill, which is quite a distance from here, they do have recycling bins. I live inside, as an example, I live inside the city limits of Chickamauga. We have a MSW garbage can, we have a recycling can. And I pay $8 more a month to have a recycling can. My MSW price didn't change at all. But 2/3 of my disposal goes into that recycling can. Every bit of it, 2/3. And they pick it up every other week, but I'm still paying $8. So I haven't seen a company yet that's been able to figure out a way to make recycling less expensive. I elected to do recycling because it was offered and I wanted to do something positive, and paying the $8 was worth it to me to have that extra service, to know that 2/3 of my household disposal is going to be recycled in some capacity. But that gets back into, there are third-party vendors that do that, because Chickamauga has contracted with one to do
I
that,
think they have one out here though.
and they may
I
not.
thought I looked.
And I don't know of anywhere else in the county other than just inside Chickamauga, and I think they had to get like 100 people committed to even do it. And that's one reason too I did it. It was just to try to help get it started. But it can be done by third-party private companies, but it's not a free pickup, I guess what I'm going back. Was it free when y'all were up north?
No, we paid for our
You paid for recycling, you paid for your household and
in
stuff.
different places of the counties up there. It works differently, but
How many would be willing to pay a third-party company $7 or $8 a month to have you a recycling container? That's part of the problem with recycling. It's hard to get people motivated because it does drive the cost up.
Doesn't Lafayette have those cans over by the sheriff's department?
but we're not allowed to take it.
I understand that, but you're saying Chickamauga area has it.
Well, Chickamauga has curbside, and everybody's paying for that per home.
Whereas Lafayette has it, you just drive it over there and drop it off.
Don't get
I
caught.
don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying the city limit has the cans where they can do it though.
They do.
They do.
They do.
Without
have
a
it
fee.
over there, but of course, you've got to take it, but it is.
Well, I mean,
better.
if you live next door, you just walk across it.
Well, let's
I'm
talk
saying,
about,
you're saying $8 in your area versus just drive it over and drop it off for free versus,
but in fairness, the residents of Lafayette are paying the cost, because they've got a whole nother city property tax structure that the unincorporated areas is not paying. So it's built into the cost. It's just city property tax.
Well, that's a question, could part of the county have to bring it to it, it wouldn't cost as much because they wouldn't have to pick it up. Everybody, they wouldn't stop at everybody's house.
Yeah, the part of the challenge with a location pickup, let's just say if you put a couple of dumpsters out here for recycling, you're going to get everything, especially if it's not manned. And so that's what I've learned from other counties, is that if you have a recycling location or any type of disposal, it needs to be manned, and it needs to be locked up at night. And so therefore, when you're locked up at night, you're going to come in the next morning, you're going to have surprises outside the gate where somebody coming in at 7:30 and they didn't care, so they're going to leave it with you anyway. And then you've got cost to be able to do that. So I'm open to any ideas and solutions, but just keep in mind we're creating a new cost. When you go back and you look at the financials, Joe, can you access the internet? Okay. If you go to our county website, Joe's done a fabulous job over the last 2 years, starting from scratch and completely rebuilding our website. But you can go under budget and finance and pull up all of the audits for like the last 15, 20 years back. And in those audits, on average between about page 9 and 10, you will see a profit and loss statement for the landfill itself, because it's a separate enterprise fund. It has its own balance sheet, has its own income statement. When I was running for office, I took the past 16 years of those, put it on a spreadsheet of revenue, expenses, profit, and loss. Run a total at the bottom. The average was over $500,000 a year in losses to the landfill. And what was happening is we had companies out of Chattanooga that were commercial haulers that were getting substantial discounts to bring their waste out of Tennessee to Walker County to fill up our construction and demolition of C&D landfill, which it'll fill up this year. So they were getting substantial discount to bring many, many truckloads a day. So if you went over to the landfill as a citizen, you're going to be, at that time, you'd been paying about $7 more a ton than what commercial haulers were paying. And so what was happening, they was having to take about $500,000 a year out of the property tax line item and move it over into the landfill and do an intergovernmental transfer of funds to offset the losses of the landfill. This went on, folks, for 16 years in a row. One year it was over $1 million that it was, from what the audits say. These are not my numbers, these are audited numbers. And a financial audit for this county costs about $80,000 a year. So they spend a lot of time making sure these things are right. So when I came into office, I realized real quick we had too much staff out there. We had operational problems, we had leadership problems, and we had morale problems, and we had customer problems. And so we needed to adjust our rates to cover the true costs, because what was happening is all of y'all sitting here tonight and all the other citizens of the county, we were subsidizing 4 businesses out of Chattanooga. We were giving them a discount, and the property tax payers were picking up the shortfall of $500,000 a year for them to come down here and fill up our landfill and for them to make a profit. So what ended up happening when we raised the rates up a little bit per ton, we took all discounts away, which really raised their price. We, in essence, divorced our 4 largest customers for our C&D landfill. And they come to one of my meetings and just had a fit. Said there was no way we could survive without them. And I said, there's no way we can survive with you. You're choking us, you're killing us financially. All 4 of those companies left us April 1st of 2017. And so the fiscal year started in October of 16, we went to September of 17, and the landfill netted $12,000 in change profit. So it's just math, it's just numbers, it's just operations. I say just, but there's a lot of dials, a lot of tweaking, a lot to go into that to get the right manager over there and to turn that operation around and to lose your 4 largest customers. But I've come from the business environment. I've divorced customers before, so it didn't intimidate me at all, because many times you can have customers you cannot afford to keep them. And our 4 largest customers, we couldn't afford to have them. And if we had kept them, they would have already had that landfill full. Who's next?
I got a quick question. I work in the local elections over here, and when I'm requesting, it costs a lot of money.
Okay.
You know, our cell service is very in and out. Sometimes we have one bar and none. And oftentimes we have to call into the county office, you know, to get clarification on things and so forth. And there's a plug back here, a landline in the kitchen that doesn't work. So
We need a landline.
that's what we do.
Yeah, we probably do need that. This is nothing else, just for emergencies. The other, 50 weeks out of the year.
They send us a phone, but it doesn't work. Sometimes we have to go out in the rain to call.
Okay. So make a note of that now. We need to get a working phone over here. Okay. Hey, sometimes the little things mean a lot. So, a $25 phone bill could save somebody's life. Yeah, this emergency shelter too. Yeah. All right, who's next? Yes,
I want to ask one question. You talked about when you get out of debt, county finances in general. I want to know, in this program you started it 3 years ago to pay off Erlanger, you said it was a 3-year program and we paid it for 2 years.
Yes.
Is it going to come off next year or will it be on there forever?
No. No broken promises here. And if you go back and look at your spreadsheet, I'm glad you brought this up. This is a very good topic. About middle of the spreadsheet there, you'll see what you're referring to, non-exchange financial guarantees Erlanger. That's for the Hutchinson failure. And so we were successful in negotiating with Erlanger. No back interest, no penalties, no court costs, and no interest or penalties going forward if we did everything on time. We make them quarterly payments of $650,000 a quarter. We have today, as of January 20th, we have paid them $3,250,000 in there's time periods. So you'll see there what's owed is $5,455,000. The collections are coming in good for that, and that will be in 2020, on your 2020 tax bill, that'll be completely gone 100%. The ordinance has already been in place. More detail than you want. So yeah, 2020, that'll be gone. So that public health facility fee.
It's a pretty big raise for a lot of us.
Yes. Oh, it is. Yes, that'll come completely off and be gone. The paperwork, it's already done. Yes. Yes. Who's next? Front here, Robert. Good question. Good discussion.
This is another question about the road situation, which I'm glad to see that my road is on the list.
Okay.
But there's another road, a small road, that's not a common there, and it's the one I mainly use to get to my house, which is Richardson Road. And I don't know if you're familiar with that road or not. The overall road is in pretty good shape. At the end of it that comes out on this end is you can barely get in it right now. It's so bad. The county comes out and occasionally throws some gravel around there, and it's gone in a few days, but I'm not quite sure how that get it fixed so we can get in and out that road.
Okay.
Would be helpful.
So Richardson Road, I'm sure you know that. I haven't personally been on that road, but I have been down there.
There's a stop sign on Richardson Road too.
Okay.
East Merchant Road, so it comes out. A couple of years ago, somebody ran over the road, drove across the road, condition there. I picked it up, took it home, straightened it out, brought it back, put it up there with some stops. I can't believe it's still standing up there, but I called twice about it. And nobody's ever come out.
So that's at Richardson and East Armuchee. Okay. So Carlin, if you'll make a note of that, Richardson Road and East Armuchee, need to send over a new stop sign and post and replace that. Should get that this week.
Because you have to really do like this to try to get anywhere that far in the hole.
Okay. All right.
And I second what he just said about Richardson Road, but I'm also thankful that you attempted to fix the road on East Armuchee Road. It was a gully, now it's a bump. And I have a bad back. So I want to know when East Armuchee Road is on the schedule after Dix Creek.
Yeah, on our road paving, like I say, we're getting about $300,000 a month. And once we determine those 10 roads, we're going to bid those out the 1st of March. And once we get the bids back and see what that's projected to cost, and see how our collections are going, then later in 2019, we should have another batch of roads that we're going to do. Because the T-Splosh will run for 5 years. That started collecting in April of 2018, so we've not even had a year of collections. But we didn't bond any of that out or create any debt, so we're building up that cash. So when we pave these roads, you can rest assured there's no debt. We're writing the check. And so we'll be looking at Richardson Road as a possibility of the next round later in 2019.
It's right before you get to East Merchant Baptist Church.
Okay.
But really, South Dix Creek Road, a lot more forward.
Maybe we can get them both before the year is over.
Just right now,
Okay. We'll see if we can do some repair work on it in the meantime. All right, who's next? All the way in the back, okay? That's good for Robert. We get one over here and somebody over here. That keeps Robert moving. He likes to be on the move.
My question is more for the sheriff.
Okay, Sheriff? He's got a question for you. But Robert, you took the microphone away from him.
Oh, okay.
I live on West Mercer Road.
Yeah.
And traffic is increasing exponentially here. I know we can do nothing about GPS, how we're doing, but it's
Shortcuts from Gore.
But the speed is just getting ridiculous. I actually had a person tell me a couple of years ago, yeah, I know the road is a little long, there's no speed limit. I used it when I got for years to go wrong.
Yeah.
And we live right on the fire hall, which is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is completely, totally ignored. But as much as the speed, I understand there are a lot of chicken houses on West Mercer Road, and cook food is, the main complaint I have. I was actually pulled out behind one of their trucks last week. He did not stop anywhere on our road. It went all the way down, I was going to the door, and kept going. So he was not, we have a 6-wheel restriction on our road, which is completely ignored by just lots of people. There have been 4 dump trucks. I actually saw them down at Gore heading toward Rome, running through for the last month, somewhere around 7 o'clock in the morning, and coming back at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. I don't know where they're going during the day, they cut through our road, and they're going down the straightaway to Fire Hall at 55, 60 miles an hour. But we're getting a lot of traffic, a lot of over 6-wheel traffic, and those jams in the road, but it's also scary for those of us who live out there who have children and grandchildren, and elderly parents and all, and people running down the road in traffic. And we just don't ever see any enforcement. We get called, my son-in-law, my both would call the state patrol and
Yeah. We unfortunately, David's talking about West Mercer Road, multi-axle vehicles and speeding vehicles. We've had that trouble on East Mercer Road also.
the same problem, sublegular cutting up and getting around. The big trucks, dump trucks, the chicken trucks, the log trucks, FedEx, and it's been a problem for as long as I can remember. We've addressed it, I don't know how many times, numerous times over the years. Normally what I do is I call NCCD, the former DOT people, because they have the ability and the authority to, they can weigh these vehicles on the side of the road. And so that's what I've got Sergeant Chris Ware over at the Greenville office. I'll call him tomorrow and ask him if he could dedicate some of his enforcement NCCD, they're a branch of the state patrol now, to that road. Is what I have to do when I get complaints on it. And when I get complaints, I'll forward them to them, and then, of course, you know, like everything else, they'll go to the next squeaky wheel. The speed limit on that road, I believe the posted speed limit is only an advisory speed limit. In Georgia, the county roads, the county commissioner has to have the county roads surveyed by the Georgia Department of Public Safety in order for law enforcement, county law enforcement, to be able to run radar on county roads. A lot of people don't know that. Carl and I, the road superintendent, just talked about that a few minutes ago. There's probably only about 20 county roads that meet that criteria, that the sheriff's office can run radar on. I don't believe West Armuchee is on that list, but I will look and see, because I just don't remember from my memory whether it is or not. If it is, then we can run radar on that road. If it's not, I have to turn it over to the state patrol to run radar. The state patrol is authorized by the General Assembly to run radar on any road in the state. I don't care if it's a big trail or if it's a super highway. That's the General Assembly saw fit to give that authority to the Georgia State Patrol. But for county police, county law enforcement, city police, the roads have to be surveyed, and it's quite expensive to survey those roads. But you know, he asked them to come in, and they survey them, and they determine what the speed limit will be, and then we have to keep our radar certified every 2 years to be able to run radar on it. But I can check that tomorrow, and either way, I'll get somebody out there. If it's us or the state patrol, I'll call them, and for the weight vehicles and the multi-axle vehicles, I will do that also. And that goes for anybody else that lives on East Armuchee Road, West Armuchee. That's the two main thoroughfares. If you see a certain type of vehicle that you don't think is making a delivery or stop, now if they have a customer or if they live on those roads, there's nothing to do about it. And that's how a lot of them sometimes try to get around it. They try to pull wool over eyes, and you know, they'll maybe have a bill of lading that says they're cutting or delivering, but that may not be all the time. So they try to hoodwink us when they can get a chance. But we'll certainly do our best. If you'll call me directly at my office, and just, if I'm not there, leave a message and I'll call you back, and I'll get somebody out there, whether it's us or the state agencies that can handle it. Yeah. And it's been a problem for a long time. It really has. I could probably send somebody out there every day and write tickets if I had them to do it. I just don't have them to do it. Can't find people to hire. If you know of anyone interested in law enforcement, let me recruit tonight. I desperately need young people, old people, middle-aged people to work in the jail. I need good people with career-minded law enforcement to work and give me a chance to put them through the police academy. We just cannot find people, and this is a nationwide trend. Everywhere I go, when I talk to sheriffs or police chiefs, it's the same problem all across this country. And one of the reasons is we're having law enforcement killed at an alarming rate. About every 60 hours across the country, somebody's losing their life in the line of duty in this business that pays very little. But if you know somebody out there, please tell them to give me a call. We'd love to have them. I tried to get Scott's kids involved. They're just turned 18. I said, I can hire you when you get 18. They didn't seem to have any interest in it. But if you know anybody, please give me a call. And, you know, many of you called me over the years. I try to call you back in 24 hours. If I'm not in the office or if I'm out, just leave a message and I'll get back with you.
We're tickled the sheriff is able to come and be with us tonight. While he's got the microphone up here, does anybody have any additional questions or anything from the sheriff? Here you go. You just, okay.
I know you have a satellite office over here. I want to know how much police presence we actually have other than just having an office.
It is a transitional office. It's not a staff office. And the men and ladies come and go in it quite often. I couldn't tell you exactly how often I come and go in it. And that, it was set up as a transitional satellite office from day one. With the goal of maybe someday having somebody here, but that someday has never got here, to be honest with you. It's all about funding and staffing and money. But it is used a lot. You can go in it, and I fuss at them all the time for not keeping it clean. So I know they're using it a lot. But I can't tell you the number of hours. I don't have those figures. But other than the fact that we appreciate it being here, because it is, you know, if they're working over in this area, they can go use the restroom, they can go sit down and make their reports, write the reports, which sometimes are very lengthy. So we're tickled to have it here, to be honest with you. And, you know, it gets used a lot. I don't have any numbers to tell you how much.
Anybody else have something, anything for the sheriff while he's up here? Okay. Thank you again for coming. We really appreciate you coming out. And we've got 5 more of these.
I'll be back.
Okay, we got 5 more of these we're doing across the county, and we've invited all of our elected officials to attend any if they can. One thing, too, I want to call your attention to on the front page of this flyer here, if you didn't get one, there's many of them on the back, or we've got plenty if you want some more. There at the top, this is different ways that you can communicate with us. One of the things I wanted to point out to you is our newsletter. Joe does a really good job about every month of putting out an e-newsletter that you receive by email. And it's usually about a 4 or 5 minute read. And Joe's got real crafty here lately. Many times he's actually will embed these different videos. And usually these videos are about 1.5 to 2 minutes. But it's a real good snapshot, about 44 to 5 minutes, where you can watch a couple of videos or read and kind of get a snapshot update of what's going on in the county. And so you can simply go to our website and just enter in your email address, all the information you need, and you can access that. And you can see the back issues. I mean, you guys are 19 or better.
Well, they came out 2 weeks ago.
It was issue 19. So in 2 years, we've put out 19 editions. The Facebook link is there. Also, our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel that has all of our public meetings, all of our official meetings that we have to do. So we have a commissioners meeting every month, twice a month, the second and fourth Thursday of the month. And I know it's a long ways to come to town for a commissioners meeting, and they're at 6 o'clock in the evening, and that may be hard for many to do. But you can go on our YouTube channel, and you can watch every video, fast forward, rewind, whatever you need to do, watch at your leisure. And I think we're getting close, probably to about 100, 90 to 100 videos over the last 2 years that have been accumulated. So you may not want to go back to in the beginning, but you may want to watch maybe the last couple and kind of get what's going on. And also recently we started an Apple podcast. A lot of people use an Apple podcast when they're exercising, or driving to work or whatever. So if you really want to know what's going on in government, you can download those meetings on podcast and listen to it over your radio device or your iPhone or whatever. So there's some good new ways of things that we've implemented since we've been in office to try to better communicate and get the word out what's going on. Who's next? Yeah, Doctor?
I forgot something. I was mentioning the fire one night that came out and they parked the truck with the lights off. It was in the driveway or it was in a driveway. They turned the lights off and got out and started walking on private property, checking on the fire is what it was doing. But it looked like maybe some burglars was out there and got some people sick. So if they could leave the lights on when they get in a situation like that, so it would indicate that the fire
So the moral of the story is, firemen, if you don't want Dr. Pope shooting at you, turn your flashers on, let him know that you're there checking out something of official business, or he's going to come shake you down.
And I'm talking about the roads. I haven't heard the Manning Mill road mentioned. But unless it's been repaired in the last 2 or 3 months, there were all kinds of potholes down there.
Yeah, Manning Mill was one that was really, really bad shape, and I think they documented close to 1,000 potholes that they filled back late summer. So I probably need to have him go back through and do a touch-up and see what new holes we have, because that one's going to be an ongoing problem.
And I also would like to also mention Richardson Road. That's a place right there, historic Richardson Road. Well, so yes, they did not exaggerate when they say it's bad. It is bad.
Yeah, Matt's not going to let me forget Richardson Road or Carlin. So we got to look into Richardson Road. Okay. Good question.
And I'd like to share just a little information on the Walker Rocks platform. When you asked the question, there were a lot of people that didn't raise their hand to know what that is. If you get on your computer and go to walkerrocks.com or on Facebook, you just type in Walker Rocks. As Shannon indicated, we developed this program as a platform to encourage people that do not live in Walker County to come visit us in a way that doesn't cost us any money. Come visit the natural amenities that we have. It's working very, very well. There are 44, 45 different countries of people that send us feedback every day about, hey, I'm planning a visit to come over here. So the idea behind that is we don't have any money, so we're finding a way to generate income in ways other than a property tax increase. That's the point of it. And a lot of it is, it's fun, but I wanted to share with each of you the importance that you will help, just help promote the awareness of, we got a lot of people in Atlanta that live in the suburbs of Atlanta that are coming in and they're spending some money while they're here. And as we get more hotels and more restaurants, especially more upper scale restaurants that these folks normally want to visit, when we enhance our sales tax revenue stream, it takes pressure off of the property tax side of that. And the debt can continue to go down while not reducing services. So I just want to share that with you. Thank you for indulging me.
Yeah, very good. Good points. Anybody else? Any topics? Okay, I'll let you go first as he's walking to the back.
When we built this building, the county built this building about 10 years ago, they put a sign up out on the road there that was just I think it's strand board with vinyl lettering on it. It looks really, really bad because the lettering has all peeled off. And at one time, Sheriff Wilson even asked if we could come, if the community center here could even go with him, to replace that sign. It looks really, really bad for such a nice building of the counties to be sitting here. So at some point, if somebody look at that sign and maybe come up with something better than what is out there.
Very good. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Whitfield, again. For the past 2 years, I've seen a huge difference. So I just want to thank you for that first and foremost. But I also wanted to say, on this side, I feel like that, and I grew up here. I've been here for over 30 years, and I moved back. And I've had a choice of any area to be in, and I chose Villanelle, Georgia. But I do feel like there is a separation between Lafayette City and Villanelle. But I know that, and I don't want to generate any debt, I just want to go and put that out there. But I would love to see a post office or something on this side of town. I know that there used to be, and that would make it an established area, if I'm not mistaken. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on a post office, because I know that there's been a lot of crime as far as like mailboxes and people taking, if they set that flag up and there's thieves, and I just wanted to see if that would be an opportunity for this area, since there is a positive element.
Yeah, I would very much support this community having a post office. I know that's something that would be at the U.S. Postal and the federal level. I don't know if that's something that they're looking to expand more offices or they're looking to downsize or not. But who would ever thought that our post office would be delivering during Christmas 7 days a week to the home? And I think my wife and kids wanted just to see if it was really going to happen or not. Because I think the whole month of December, I think I pulled something out of the mailbox every Saturday and every Sunday where they were making deliveries. So the postal business has really changed. So I don't know if their model is to put more fleet or to have more locations or what. But I'll do some asking about that and see. But I think it'd be great if there was a post office over here for sure. But maybe we can build them a building and rent it to them, make a profit. Yeah, we'll rent them a spot over here. I like the way you think. We might make some money off of this yet. Okay, big guy, tell me what you got on your mind. I bet what's on your mind is you would like some basketball goals that wasn't so high up. Would that be a good thing to have over here, some basketball goals about this high? I think that they're not taking good care of you. So he likes the smoke. So smoke alarms get a thumbs up. You need ice cream at the Needs. I think you and I are going to get along great. I'm so glad you come tonight.
We need to give him a hand.
Yeah, give him a hand. I think you're with it. Very good. All right, who's next? Oh, right there in the back.
Last year it seemed like that our right-of-ways didn't get mowed enough to handle the grass that grew up. I just wonder what your plan is this year, if there's going to be more mowings or if it's going to be the same, or we're going to deal with 9-foot grass growing up inside the road this year.
Yeah, well, you hit a sore subject right there. It hurts right here every time. Now, roadside mowing has been an ultimate challenge. I mean, there's no disputing or running from it because a couple of my very first meetings in 2017, I had local farmers in particular coming to the meeting saying, stop spraying the roadsides. It's killing the honeybee population. It's killing our trees. We don't know what we're breathing. Quit spraying all these chemicals out. So we stopped spraying. We didn't realize we was going to have record rainfall. And so end of 2018 and starting in 2019, we've had this rain like crazy. One of the biggest challenges that we had is I think we had like 10 tractors, many of them old in age, and I know a couple of times I'd go by the shop and 6 or 7 of them would be broke down. And so fortunately, in 2018, we bought 2 new tractors with batwing attachments, which made a big difference, just having 2 brand new tractors. Problem is, those things didn't come in until about late June, I think it was, Carter. And so, some of our areas, that's when they started mowing. And so, and then it's this high before they get started. So, we hope to be able this year to buy 1 or 2 more tractors and just try to start replacing this fleet because we just had so much downtime. Plus, we're going to have to start earlier. We can't wait till it gets here. We're going to have to start, probably no later than the 1st of April, maybe even sooner than that, if it warms up pretty quick, to try to get ahead of it. But it is something that we are very conscientious about. It is something that is a safety hazard and risk, and something that we're committed in 2019 to do a better job at. It's definitely a problem that we should be able to solve. Good point. Who else?
I think we just about won everybody in.
Wore everybody out. It's 7:30. Last call. Well, thank you so much for coming out. I look forward to being back with you in the near future. I really do appreciate all of y'all that take such good care of this facility. I didn't know when this facility was 10 years old, and it's incredible how nice and clean and how well y'all take care of this facility. So thank you for doing that. I'll be happy to stick around and talk or answer, have any more discussion. I'm sure the team will be here if we can help you in any way. And again, thank you for coming out and getting involved in your county government. Have a good evening.
Are these centers storm protection rated where you can actually